So we will start with the practice. We will do the 3 times life force salung and 9 breathing and salung soldip, and I will do the guide the meditation. Just continuously feel the connection to all the lineage master, the source, and particularly the lineage of the Tummo, Tuje Kundro, our teachers. Feel the power of praying and connected to the source and the lineage. Now, as always, our 3 Tongra, body as a transformation of Tuje Kundro, the internal energy central, the channels are illuminated like an inner anatomy, and then the central channel, the flame and the warm, it's alive. Just feel these 3 aspects of 3 Tongras, as always, become more and more familiar. The image in page 27, the central channel. If you have the pages, just look at it closely. Which is slightly different from from visualizing the central channel of the Tongra of Dharmakaya, but principle is same. It's a continuous development. So in a way, simple. Just simply feeling this presence of 3 Tongra, but fully focused in the central channel with the moon disk, hum syllable down, with the sun disk, ashe up, and in the center of the heart, the sphere of light representing one's consciousness. It's on the top protected by the moon disk, bottom protected by sun disk. So in the sun and between sun and moon disk in the heart level, just this visualization. More than visualizing, just feel their presence of the light.
Once again, because I lost the moon and sun, where is placed?
Yeah, so the moon disk and sun disk, as in the image here. So 3 places you're feeling, right? At the junction, you're feeling the sun disk with the ashe. Okay, let's do that. So just feel, bring your full attention, awareness at the junction of the channels, 4-inch below the navel, and the sun disk and ashe flame, with all its 4 qualities as explained before. At least just feel it. Now bring your attention to the crown on the top of the central channel. There's a moon disk, hum syllable down. In the heart, in the center, the sphere of light representing our awareness, consciousness, and it's protected with the sun disk from bottom, moon disk from the top. So in between moon and sun disk is kind of protected, the pure light. Yeah. So just for a moment, become more familiar. So then on page 28, you see these syllables, but I know if you don't know the Tibetans, it will hard to remember, but just imagine like the vowel and consonant, Ali syllable on the right, Kali syllable on the left, 16 Ali and 34 consonant Kali. Just, even though you cannot see all the details, just imagine this chain of vowels and consonant syllables, energy, and you gently breathe in this Ali Kali mantra from right and left nostril, and goes down through the side channels. When it arrives at the junction, together moves up through the central channel, and when it arrives near the heart level, Ali circles the counterclockway to the Tigle, and the Kali counterway to the Tigle. Just feel, even though again all the detail might not be very easy, but just feel these sacred syllable on the top counterclockway and the lower circulating clockway. So counterclockway on the top, Ali, and the clockway, the kali, is lower. And don't worry about the text, it's a little bit different. I will explain later. So just feel this circulating, like it's kind of a little bit hard. One is going counterclockway, one is going clockway. Brain exercise in the heart, near the light, and then a few times, and then as you gradually exhale, the moon disk moves up, dissolves through the moon, sun disk goes down, dissolves to the sun, and all the syllable and the light dissolve in the heart. Moon dissolve goes up, and the syllable dissolve right into the heart. Okay, so everything dissolves. So just follow what I'm saying right now. I'll explain later. Okay, let's try again everything.
Spróbujmy jeszcze raz.
So go back, maintaining this idea of new body, new anatomy, new consciousness, Tritongra, just instantly maintaining these three dimensions. That is the base. Bringing full attention to the central channel, in the crown, moon disk and syllable hum upside down,
W koronie,
representing the male.
która reprezentuje element męski.
At the junction, sun disk, the flame facing up, is a female, representing female. In the center of the central channel, the sphere of light, tigle, white tigle, representing your consciousness, pure awareness. On the top of that tigle, because the same direction in the crown, there's a moon disk. So moon disk, the aspect of moon disk is there also, and the top down as there's a sun disk. So it's protected. Like look at the image. So as you have page, look at the image, then it's very clear. So simply being aware of that. Look at the image, close your eye, feel the central channel. Look at the image, feel the eye, look back, go back, close your eye, feel the central channel with these qualities. Continue, get to become more familiar and breathe deep, exhale longer, slower from the nose. Restful awareness in the end of the exhalation, feel that restfulness in the central channel with these qualities inside the central channel. Now imagine 16-inch in front of the right and left nostril, Ali syllables on the right, Kali syllables on the left. Now gradually breathe in like this chain of sacred syllables as a form of feel the blessings when you enter into the nostril, and going down through the central channel, moving together up. And when it arrived in the central channel, the Ali mantra counterclockwise, circling the tigle, Kali mantra circling the tigle clockwise. It's both inside the sun and moon disk in the tigle, in the center, in the heart, 3 times. As you exhale, the sun disk goes down, dissolves to the sun disk, moon disk goes up, dissolves to the moon disk, and all the syllables in tigle dissolve right at the heart, and rest. So I'm not going to guide the 3rd time, do exactly the same. Okay. So let me just go back a little bit. These 3 different practices with the protection and also which we are 9 breathing, we are doing it already. So it's the second part of the practice called purifying through the lung. And then the 3rd part of this practice is it's called like a blessing through Alikali mantra. So these are like a ground practice, foundational practices. Unique foundational practices, it's called. Sheparchingondo. So, I know it's a little bit complex visualization. I would not worry so much about all the syllables exactly look, but think about like a chain of, you can imagine like a syllables, like not detailed, but chain of energy, going down, going up, and then one energy is circling counterclockwise, top one, and the below one is clockwise. So there's two different movements happening in the heart. So that it's kind of a little complicated, but it's interesting.
Przeciwstawny ruch Ali.
Definitely challenging for the brain, and probably it's supposed to be like that. So only thing I think is important, it's very clearly explained, so you need to read it closely. Only clarification is this is the kind of way I'm explaining is the opposite than the counterclockwise and clockwise. You probably, I don't know if you noticed that. So it's possible in Buddhist tradition, when they're doing this particular kind of practice, they might be doing the way it is explained here. Possible. I have asked one Kaji Lama, who is supposed to be good in Tsalung, he did not answer. So there's always this clockwise and counterclockwise issues between the Buddhist and the Buddhist. So keep it simple. Do the Ali counterclockwise on the top, Kali clockwise on the bottom, and we will fix this text. And the page 29, you see they're quite clear, right? And also the level, the junction, it feels like it should be a little bit lower down, below the navel, and central channel not going directly down, but they're just like a usual 9 breathing 3 channel. They're just like a letter W, like just like this, below the navel, but not going straight down. Okay, some things that doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. Okay, remember we said that if you are not getting it, don't worry about it. There's a lot of things you are getting it, focus on them. Simple advice. Because when you're becoming more and more familiar with these practices, then some point when that different level of clarification is necessary, it will come. But you don't have to get everything now, right now. Is it making sense? If you're worrying about what you're not getting, worry about the worrying mind, not about the topic. A worrying mind is a more problem than these details. It's a pattern. So the main thing, the principle here, you can see it's really like it's a very complex, it's a lifetime kind of practice, right? I'll give one example. If you think about Sambhoga Kaya, Nirmana Kaya, Dharma Kaya, like a three tongra, like these three visualization practices, in principle, our awareness and our body should be much more subtler, and subtler. But probably that's difficult to experience the subtler. We are doing the same visualization, different kind of visualization, but the subtlety is almost the same. There's no subtleties. That's the problem, right? It's like a similar, like idea of perception of self. Who are you? Who are you when?
I kiedy jestem kim?
Right? So sometimes you are father, mother, husband, wife, brother, sister, lawyer, doctor. So definitely we have different roles that we identify with. And absolutely these roles are not who you are. But even the roles, the good side of the roles and the bad side of the roles, you might identify with them. I'm nobody, nothing, I'm a bad lawyer. I don't know, I'm not saying you might think that way, but in case somebody's thinking like that, instead of thinking I'm a good lawyer, or I can be a good lawyer, or I'm trying to be a good lawyer, I'm trying to be a good human being. So we do identify with different things. The growth, development means these identity need to be improved. From very dark, down, lost to very light, luminous, warm, very uplifting sense of you. The subtlety, that's what the subtlety means, right? To the point, they say, I'm no one. But no one seems very threatening for most people. But in principle, no one means everyone. If you're not identified with only one, you can be many. Every time when we have a problem to be something or be someone, because we are over-identifying with the opposite side of it. Internal, unconscious identity conflict. If you're no one, it will be easier. If you're no one will be suffering. Does that make sense? So, idea of no one is very subtle. Being your pain is heavy. Being your condition is heavy. Being your sickness is heavy. Being your pain is heavy. Yeah. Being your fear is heavy. Being your problem is heavy. Whenever you're confused, or feeling lost, when you feel this heavy thing, Simply what's happening inside. You're identifying with that. You're not that. So in the teaching, this whole, these different Tummo teaching, different levels, in principle, it's like a getting subtler, subtler, subtler. Like a breath, for example. You think about somebody, when you hear somebody leaving a message, they go, okay, yes, I got your message, I'll get back to you. They go like that, right? You can see their breath is gross, loud, heavy. Or you listen to the message, you don't even know they're breathing. Even in the breath, subtlety is a big deal. They say, like the sniper, when they shoot, the breath is important. Internally, breath is important than when they're shooting, right? It's not like they can miss the target if they do that. If the whole thing is going up and down, right? So probably the snipers, they hold the breath when they trigger it. So internal breath is calculated well, but at the same time, they also calculate very well outer air. How much the distance, what kind of wind, speed of the wind, the heaviness of the bullet, speed of the bullet, to shoot something miles away. All this calculation is in consideration. When you hear this, when they talk about this, it makes sense from the point of view of the teaching. Outer wind, inner wind, good shot. So also when we are doing this, all these practices from very gross, the Tsalung, we are doing like when we are doing like Tsalung, like a gross air, and then we are doing subtle air, and then going to deeper air. These different qualities of air, they're not the same air. That's what I mean by in the Western science, finally catching up with some of the elements, but probably they can never catch up with all the elements. Because in the end, the ultimate measurement is the awareness, not the machine. Anyway, what I'm trying to talk here, talking about these subtleties, the winds, they are different, subtle. When you're happy, your breath is different. When you're sad, your breath is different. In the science, they are talking about when you are, very, feeling very peace and safe, your heart rate variability is not much. It's kind of, when you are feeling safe, it's a long range of variability. But when you are not, when you are angry, there is like a flat. It's like there's not variability much. So sympathetic and parasympathetic, what we were talking. So these two are always kind of operating in the same level, right? Different breath. So body, just the concept of body. Tibetan we say ku, kusum. But literally body means, when we say body, we immediately think this. When you say Dharmakaya does not have this. It's another pure dimension. But it's not dead. It's the source of every manifestation of every energy. Your pure being, that is who you are. That is Dharmakaya. That is where your highest aspect of you manifests from. And we don't have much clue about it, right? But we know this body, this physical body. Difficult to handle this, right? Requires a lot of maintenance. For painful identity, it's a lot of maintenance. This body required a lot of maintenance for the pain identity. Pain identity almost does everything opposite what the body needs. It consumes the wrong calories, the gross calorie, not the pure element calories, Even idea of, addiction is like this, idea of joy. What is a joy? What is a joy? Joy, you have a piece of paper, joy label. You can put on a shrine. You can put on the alcohol. You can put bread. You can put on sweets. And, or you can put on, like hiking.
Albo na przykład chodzenie,
walking, long walks, challenging hiking, challenging your physical body into its limit, and you call it joy. And it's true for all these people, it's true, that is the joy for them. Where you put the level joy. Sometimes even when you have a friend, it's not easy. Most friends, you say, let's go for a drink. Everybody is happy to do that. Let's go to eat. Everybody is happy to do that. Let's go for hiking. You're very lonely sometimes. And then you have to enjoy it. You said, lonely is good. Alone is good. And you have to learn joy is to be alone. And the next week on, you're so happy being alone because you have labeled the joy there, which was not there before. A joy is serving, just serving strangers and, sometimes people I don't know, it's a joy. Of course, you always limit with your time, what much amount of time you have, but it's just to help people. It's a joy, definitely. So what I'm saying, wherever you have put the label joy to, if it's helping your development, keep it labeled there. If it's not helping your development, take the label out.
I teraz
Relabel somewhere else. I probably have shared this story. When I was fasting for 10 days, I love food. It's not I don't love food. I love good food. Then if this is not good, I don't care to eat. I don't need just junk to fill up the fuel. I don't need that. I can stay hungry. But when I was fasting, I could see that having a little issue with other people eating food. Tell them, all of you eat, I will not come there because I'm not eating anyway, Then I observe myself. Is it that I don't want to participate there, or is it like I am having issue with the food?
Yeah.
Then I saw a little bit there, this food issue. Then I
Zamiast
label my joy not to eat, but serve food.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people, there were at least 7, 8 people, I don't know, in the Lama house. I took all of them out for dinner, and I served all of them. And I trying to enjoy the serving of each person. All this delicious food that I like, but I'm enjoying more now serving than eating. And I've clearly felt the joy, nourishment, generosity, feeling joy, feel them joy, and feeling much better in my body. They were after dinner, they were like this. I'm feeling very light. So what I'm saying, we do have a power to change the label. Changing label changes your experiences. So that's the subtle aspect. Okay, anyway, so let's see. I just wanted to maybe say a few words here, talking about the subtlety, talking about the transformation. So we always, in transformation here, always thinking like 3 doors, body, speech, and mind. In the past, I have spoken a lot. Lately, I'm not speaking too much about it. It's called pain body, pain speech, and pain mind. Does that make sense? Everybody remember what we have been used to talk about it? So idea of the body is what you deep inside a sense of identity, what you identify with. I could say so many things, but I'll say one thing. Not good enough, identifying with not good enough. Think about that. I'm not good enough human being, I'm not good enough husband, I'm not good enough father, I'm not good enough teacher, I'm not good enough, I don't know, the countless of not good enough. I'm not strong, I'm not clear. So what is deep sense of, there is there for all of us. There are many of them there, but there is a primary ones. When we, in the Three Tongra, when they're talking about the transformation, they're talking about that identity transformation. Extreme cases, like what they call identity disorder or multiple personality, what is familiar. Identity disorder or multiple personality. So in single body, 2 different identity. One medicine works. For other personality, medicine doesn't work. Basically, one personality is sick in that same body, and another personality comes, body is not sick. So the identity controls the body, not body control the identity. Maybe when you are Tuje Kundal, maybe when you have the inner anatomy totally different, maybe when your consciousness is more illuminated, more awakened, more clear, maybe the same disease is not able to reproduce itself very much. Maybe it disappears. The disease and the possessor of the disease, the demon, both saying, we are in the wrong place, come on, let's go.
My tutaj nie na miejscu, spadamy stąd
remission disappears.
I znikają.
And it's true.
I to jest...
I mean, possibilities, always we witness these things, we see these things. Basically, that's saying the identity plays more important role, and identity is flexible, it's changeable. Even simply saying, I'm Kundu Zangpo, I'm Kundu Zangpo, I'm Kundu Zangpo, I'm Kundu Zangpo. Just say it, for fun. And I'm Kundu Zangpo means all good, I'm all good, without doubt. from the central channel, the smile in your face. It was far more powerful than this Alikali practice. With the Alikali mantra, you are supposed to receive very subtle blessings. You go. So deep sense of, able to shift from pain body to body of joy, for example. Pain speech to more helpful, more positive speech. The principle is very simple. You are not your pain. Just say that. I am not my pain. I am not my... So when the pain speaks, you're not speaking. Don't get confused with the pain talking and you talking. So when pain is talking, when you look inside, you say, my pain is talking. I'm not interested in continuously engaging with my pain speech. So you are meditating on silence. And pain speech is still going on a little bit. You are enjoying the silence. Pain speech is going a little bit less. You are enjoying silence. And sometimes pain speech is just disappearing. And you listen and look at the pain speech. You laugh. But it's not you. And you don't have to engage with it. So it's the ability to make clear, see the distinction. That makes sense? Especially when, nobody wanted to hurt loved ones. You say things hurt someone. You did not intend to. Pain speech, boom. But if you're aware, you don't continue. And you might apologize. You might remain silent. You might say something more productive, positive. So do you know someone complains a lot? For no reason, complaining all the time, complaining about not complaining. Amazing individual can find complaint in anything and everything. Who is that? Most of the time, people are looking at somebody else. Those are called lower practitioners. The higher practitioners, they hear themselves. It doesn't mean you don't talk.
Nie oznacza to, żeby nie mówić.
It just means let the pain speech talk less. When pain speech rests in silence, when you feel peace, you have something to say. There might be something really concrete changes are needed to be made. It's very clear. The most difficult, painful thing can be spoken in the most compassionate, kind way. Help both sides. Or
Mają jakiś problem.
even you love someone and you don't know how to say it. You say, I love you. Scary. Scary way of loving and expressing love. Or you go in front of somebody like this. Honey, I need to talk to you. And you come close, you look it in the eye. I love you. Definitely one way of expressing it, but not the most skillful ways. You have to scare somebody to the death until somebody says, I love you. Okay. It's good to laugh a little bit.